PowerCenter 9.x follows the client-server architecture. We'll have 4 client tools in the PowerCenter. R stands for a repository manager, D stands for a mapping designer, and W stands for a workflow manager, and M stands for a workflow monitor. And between the client and server, it uses the TCP/IP to communicate with it. So this is a part which is covered in pink color. This is a server part. Server mainly consists of 2 types of services, 2 types of basic core services which are very helpful in integrating the data. That is, one is a repository service, another is a integration service. So as discussed yesterday, the repository database Informatica is not a standalone product. Like just by installing Informatica, you cannot right away start integrating the data. So whenever you are installing the server, you need to first install the one repository database. That repository database can be an Oracle database, or it can be an SQL Server database, or it can be a DB2 database. So first you have to install one of these databases, and then you have to install the server. So how does a repository database plays a role here? How does a repository database plays a role? So when it comes to the repository database is nothing but the set of metadata tables which helps you to store all your ETL programs. So these metadata tables are just like your system tables in SQL Server or system tables in DB2, or in the Oracle terminology we call it as a data dictionary. So all these metadata tables will be created, which stores the information about your server information and your database information, and at the same time it will also store all your programmatical related information, and everything will be stored in this repository database. So whenever you are installing the server, first you have to install the repository database, and you need to create a user in the database. While installing Informatica, it will ask you to enter the username and password, and that username and password, while configuring or installing Informatica, it will create the set of tables. It will create the set of pre-created tables will be there, and these tables are responsible for creating the metadata tables in the repository database. So now your Informatica server is different and your repository database is different. So how are you going to communicate with Informatica to the repository database? With the help of native drivers. Native drivers is nothing but your Oracle calling interface, OCI, or it can use some ODBC drivers also. So ODBC drivers like a platform dependent drivers. So let me just show you how it appears in the Windows. So when you go for ODBC AD32, you'll have an open database connectivity drivers. So these are the platform dependent drivers. In Windows it will be different, in Unix it will be different, in AIX it will be different. Likewise, you'll have a different drivers. So when you click on this ad, if you see here, you have different drivers like DataDirect drivers for Oracle, DataDirect for Sybase, DataDirect for SQL Server, DataDirect for Teradata. So you'll have a different drivers. You'll have a different drivers which will be available, and using these drivers your Informatica will communicate. So if you see, whenever you install this Informatica, this automatically install this driver, DataDirect 6.0, 7 and all those things. These are the Informatica patent drivers. So whenever Informatica has to connect to any other database, it uses these drivers and then communicate with a database. So whenever your Informatica server has to communicate, it will use a native drivers or the ODBC drivers. So now when it comes to the domain part, a domain is nothing but the server or a group of computers where your Informatica server is installed. So when we talk about a domain is nothing but a group of computers which are connected in a network is called as a domain. I'm going to show you how does a domain looks like and how does a repository service looks like now. So when it comes to the repository service, okay, so repository service, what is the use of repository service which is available in the server? So this repository service, whenever a developer create a program or whenever developer do some action, this client will send a request to the repository service, and this repository service will receive the request, and this repository service will convert the request into a DML statements like insert, update, delete. So whenever you save something, that should get saved onto the repository database, just like your PLSQL programs, just like your table script, it will get saved onto these metadata tables. So what is the use of repository service here? Repository service will save all the ETL program metadata into the repository database. That is the use of repository service. So whenever we have to store the data in the repository tables, the metadata tables, we will use an insert, update, delete statement to do that. And at the same time, repository service will also help you to retrieve the program what is saved in the repository database. Repository service will also help you to retrieve the programs from the repository database. And once you save the program, so the next thing is that you have to execute the program. So how are you going to execute the program what is saved in the repository database? There are two phases. Whenever we write a program, first we'll compile the program, then we'll execute the program. Now the program is saved onto the repository database, right? Now the program is saved onto the repository database. So integration service, what it does is integration service will read the program, whatever is saved in the repository database, with the help of repository service, and it will move the data from source database to the target database. Let's say you have a table called as an employee table, which is available in the source system, and I have a table called as a employee underscore stage, which is available in my target system. And that program you have created in the repository database. So your integration service will understand your instructions. Understanding the instructions is nothing but, what is a table, what is a source table, what is a target table, where this, and what are the transformations that is being used. All these things, integration service will understand it, and then based upon the source connection, it will fire a select statement to read the data. So it will fire a select statement to read the data from the source system and transform the data and then load it. So how does the integration service processes the data? Integration service, in a simple terms, it uses, it moves the data from source database to the target database. How does it move? How it will move? So integration service here, what it does is, so it will understand the instruction and it will fire a select statement to the source database. So how do you read the data from the application database? By using a select statement. So your integration service will fire a select statement to the source database, and it will retrieve the data, and it has to transform the data, right? So the transformation, everything will happen in the Informatica internal memory. Informatica will store all the data, whatever is being retrieved from the source database, within the Informatica memory, or that is called as a cache in the Informatica terms. So it will save in the cache, and then it will transform the data. So whatever the transformations that you have kept, it will transform the data, and then it will load the data into the target database. So loading the data into target database is nothing but the firing an insert statement. So what and all are technically, if you are speaking, what does an integration service does? Integration service will read the data, transform the data, and at the same time it will move the data into the target database. So now the question is, your source system is different and your target system is different. How does your integration service will communicate with the source system? How does your integration service will communicate with the target system? If you see the arrow mark, what is highlighted in orange color here, so if you see this, it also uses the ODBC drivers or the native drivers to communicate with your source system or the target system. So it uses the ODBC drivers to communicate with the system. So the two core services, one is a repository service, helps you to save the ETL program metadata, and other is an integration service which helps you to move the data from source database to the target system. And you have another tool, Informatica Administration Console tool, which helps you to configure all these things. So whenever you want to configure a repository or whenever you want to configure a integration service, everything can be configured by using a administration console. So this is the simple brief about the Informatica Power Center architecture, and I'll show you practically how the Informatica Administration Console look and what and all are the different repository tables gets created while creating a repository. Right. So far, any questions here, please? Okay. So now I'll actually try and show you how the administration console looks. So when admin has actually installed Informatica on your systems, so he might have first installed the Oracle database, that is Oracle 10G database, or Oracle 11G, anything is fine. And after installing Oracle 10G database, he might have created, if you have followed, he might have created one user. In the Oracle database. So this user will be used to store all the metadata table information. So let me just try and connect to my database and then show you. So whenever you install Oracle, whenever you install Informatica server, it will create two types of tables. One is a domain tables and other is a Informatica repository metadata tables. So these domain tables will be around 170 to 180 tables will get created. These domain tables will store all the domain related information. Domain means like all about the nodes and about the repository service information, all these things. All the domain information will be stored in these domain tables. And when you talk about the repository metadata tables, this will create the metadata tables which are used to store your repository information. And whenever you create a repository, it will create around 512 to 515 tables. These 515 tables will store all the ETL program information. There are two types of tables. Combinedly 515 plus 170, around 720 metadata tables will get created by the Informatica by default whenever you install it. So under a single domain, you can have multiple repositories. Now what has happened is the installation part is already covered by admin. Now we have installed Informatica on all your systems and the domain tables are already created in your systems. And even he would have created even the repository also. But now I'll explain you how many kind of tables will be created in the repository and everything. So now I'm logging into the administration console. This part. So this is completely managed by your Informatica administrator. There are two types of roles in any ETL project. One is an ETL developer, another is an ETL administrator or an Informatica administrator. This administration console is completely used by the Informatica admin. We are not going to touch it as a developer if you join a project as a developer. But we are going to understand complete basics, how the Informatica administrator and what are the roles and responsibilities of an Informatica administrator. So to log into your system also, so when you are logging in, so when you go here, all programs, Informatica 9.0.1, so when you see, you'll have two things. One is a client, another is a server. So if you have to log into the server, click on server. Now you have Informatica Administrator homepage. If you click on this Informatica Administrator homepage, it will open up in the browser. This is a browser-based tool. You don't have any physical client which gets installed in your system, which is used to communicate with your Informatica. This is a browser-based. You can access from Mozilla using this URL. You can access from Mozilla, you can access from Firefox, you can access from Chrome. So anyway, it's a browser-based tool. Informatica Administrator is a browser-based tool which you can log in and then configure the repository. So make sure that this is an important point here. So whenever you are logging into the Informatica, so what you have to do is make sure that you have all the repositories, all the Informatica service and the Oracle service are up and running. If you don't mind, can you please mute, please? Sorry about that. Okay, so whenever you're starting Informatica, whenever you want to work with Informatica, you have to make sure that Oracle 3 services are up and running. What are all the 3 services? Make a note of these, and if these services are not running, you cannot work with Informatica. In your case, whatever the things that are being installed on the VM, they have installed the client, they have installed the server, and you have the database which is already available in your VM. But when you go to the real time, you'll have only the client installed on your system. This is just for our convenience. We have installed client, server, and everything is there on the single VM. But when you go to the real time, you'll have only the client which is installed on the system, and server will be installed in Unix or Linux in the most of the time, or even in the Windows, but it is a different entity. So whenever you want to work, so go to the services.msc and make sure that these services are running. So first service is about Oracle service ORCL, whether this service is running or not, and the listener service is running. So these 2 services should be up and running. If the database is down, Informatica server is down, because it depends upon the repository database. Without the repository database, Informatica will not function. That's why you need to make sure that these services are up and running. So one is an Oracle service, another is a home listener, and at the same time there will be one more service. In your case, it will be Informatica 951 service. This should be up and running. If these 3 services are running, then only you can log into the administration console, or then only you can log into your Informatica repository or whatever. So now we will see how to log into the administration console. So when you click on that server home page, it will open up an administrator home page which is in the Mozilla. So whenever you are using a IE old version, or if you are using the latest IE version, sometimes this administrator home page is not compatible. So try and switch across the browsers. Either you use Mozilla or you use a Chrome to access it. Chrome also fine, but sometimes IE is not compatible and it will not load the services. It will keep on running for a long time. Okay. So now he would have used the same username and password, administrator, or he might have given you the password when he creates it. Now in my case, I have the username and password, so I'm logging in. This is my local system, so I'm logging in to this. So once you log into the so we have logged into the administration console now. Yes. Yes, Rajni, I'll answer your question one moment. Okay, you want to start the services from the VMware machine, right? So first you have to log into the VM and then go to services.msc on your run screen. I think they have installed the Windows XP. So on the run window, you just type services.msc. So when you type that, it will open up this screen. You have this screen, everything is available. Here, whatever the service is there, whatever I talk about, so Oracle service, let's say you have an Oracle service, just right click, select it, start. So you need to start the services. So just right click on it and then start. Got it? Okay. So you need to start that. Now I'm showing you how the domain looks like and how a repository service looks and everything. So once you log in, you'll get the screen something like this. So this is called as a domain. My domain is domain_Purushottam PC. It's generally, a domain is nothing but the group of computers. Group of nodes is called as a domain. Group of nodes is called as a domain. So in the real time, what happens is that for a high availability, a domain will consist of multiple nodes, because even if one node goes down, other node can be available to handle your request. That's why a domain can consist of multiple nodes. Multiple nodes is nothing but a multiple CPUs which are connected in the network. Now here, my domain consists of only one computer, that is my laptop. This is node01_Purushottam PC. This is my node. This contains only one. This domain consists of only one node. So you can also install, you can also add a multiple nodes to the same domain. Just going here, you can just add a node which is available. So likewise, a domain is something that which consists of so in the simple terms, you can call it as a domain is something that which consists of a group of nodes and the services together is called as a domain. Now, if you see, I have a lot of repository service and I have a lot of integration service here. So how to configure a repository service from your Informatica administrator homepage and how to configure a integration service, now I will show you. So I'm not sure whether you followed while administrator is installing it on your system. So I'll show you how to configure a repository and how to configure a integration service. So whenever you want to configure a repository, first thing is that you need to create a user in the database. So I have an Oracle database which is installed in my system. So I'm going to create one user in my Oracle server database, and then so you need to also grant the privileges to the user, because when you give that username while creating a repository service, what it does, it will create the set of tables in the database. So the user should have a privilege to create the tables, drop the tables, and all these things. All these things should be there. So first, you grant a DBA privilege to the database. Grant a DBA privilege to the user what you have created. Now, we will see how to create a repository service. Here we understand what is a domain. I have a lot of repository services which are available here. I just create one repository service now to understand what kind of tables it will create. Now I'm creating a user in my database. So to log into your database, you need to log in as a system user. You need to log in as a sys user to create the user in the database. In Oracle, the people who are new to Oracle, by default 2 users gets created whenever you install the database. Those users you can call them as a super users, sys and system. So these passwords will be same as what you enter while installing Oracle. If you use the same thing, these passwords will be same. So sys and system. So now I am logging into my database by using these users. So you need to know this username and password. Otherwise, you can't log into this. Sys. My password is admin123, and I'm logging into. I have 2 databases here, and I'm logging into OLAP database. So I'm logging in here, and then first you need to log in as a DBA user. Let me just try once again. So once you log in as a sys user, then you have to create the user. So I'm creating a dummy user. So just for a demonstration, so I'm creating a user info_big. Identified by yes. Yes, Rajni. After the class, I'll take a look at your VM and I'll try to help you out to start the services. Okay, we are in the middle, right? So I'll help you out. So identified by info underscore big. So when you see this, so I'm creating a user in Oracle, and I'm granting a DBA privilege. So I'm just, for a simplicity, I'm granting a DBA privilege because DBA privilege will assign all the permissions to create the tables, drop the tables, create the views, and everything will be assigned. Now I'm connecting to info big user. Whatever the user that I've created, I'm connecting to that user. I'm connecting to that info underscore big user, whatever I've just created in my OLAP database. Now, whatever the user that I've connected, so let's cross check what is the user that I've connected. User I have connected is info underscore big. So if you see, to check what are the tables that are available in this user, I'm just typing it. It says that there are no tables which are available in this user now. There are no tables. It says that no rows selected. I've queried it from the system table. It says that no rows selected, which means I don't have any tables which are available now in the InfoBig schema. InfoBig schema, I don't have any tables. So when I start creating a repository, it will create all the metadata tables, around 515 tables, which stores all your repository tables. So how to create a repository service? So when you go to this actions, new, you have something called as a Power Center repository service. Here, something called as a Power Center repository service. Just select Power Center repository service, and you can enter any name. So I'm just entering some dummy name. So InfoBig, just.
Karthik, can you do this again, please? Creating the repositories.
So when you go to actions, please, when you are selecting it, you select the domain, not the repository. Otherwise, this actions button options will be changed. So you should be on the domain navigator. Select the domain navigator, and when you go to actions, you have something called as a new. When you go to the new, you have something called as a Power Center repository service. So whenever your administrator is creating, they will use administration console, and then create it. So I'm creating just for a development repository. I'm creating for a dev. So I'll call this as a InfoBig underscore dev. And you need to select the license. So select the license, whatever is available. I've selected a license. And then the node. Okay. Parul, yes. I'll take a look at your VMs after the class. Once we complete the class, you can hold the line. I'll log into your machines and then check what is the problem. If you're not able to open it, maybe you just have to wait for some time. I mean, because VM will be a little slower side. Node is nothing but your computer. Node is just like a computer where you installed Informatica. Okay. So now you have to select the node also where you are installing repository service. If you have multiple nodes, you can select any node. Within a domain, I can create a repository service on any node. I can create any repository service on any node. So this is just for a demo. I'm just doing this, and then click on next. So when you do this, it will ask you to select the database type, which database you are using. We are using Oracle database, so select the Oracle database. So if you want to install the repository tables in the MS SQL server, you can select MS SQL server. So I'm selecting the Oracle database. Now you need to enter the username and password what you have created. You have created something called as a info underscore big. So info underscore big is the username. So enter the Oracle username, and the password is also whatever the Oracle password. And my connect string is OLAP. In your case, it might be ORCL. So there might be, I think it is a ORCL in your case, but I'm not sure how it is being configured. So the database name is ORCL, use that ORCL. So how to confirm that whether whatever the database name connect string is OLAP or ORCL? Make a note of this path. So you can go to computer and you'll find a folder called as an app. That is your Informatica installed folder. No, you need to remove it. Okay, so add. So when you go to product 11.2.0 DB home 1 network and then the admin. So here you'll have something called as a tnsnames.ora file. So I have two databases which are available in my machine. That's why I'm able to see it. So in your case, you'll have only one which is something like this. So you can just use this one, localhost, and then the ORCL is a service name. So you have to enter this. You have to enter this ORCL. But now I'm creating it in the OLAP database. So I'm going to enter this OLAP. So I'm entering this. So tnsnames.ora is a place that where it is available. So when you go here, you just enter the connection string as OLAP. Yes, Vishu. It will be there as dbname.vault. You just have to remove and then enter whatever the name that you have. Okay, now you need not to enter the table space name and everything and enter the Microsoft Windows Latin one as a code page. So we'll understand what is a code page is all about. So code page is just like a character set in your database, how you use it. And here you have two options. Content exists under the specified connection string. Do not create a new content. What does that mean is that already in this schema, you have already the repository metadata tables. Don't create again. Don't create again. So if the metadata tables are not available, this is the first time that you're creating a repository on your server. So then you have to select this option. No content exists under a specified connection string. Create a new content. What it means? It will create the new tables in the database. So now here we have two types of repositories. One is a global repository, another is a local repository. So if you have to create a global repository, you can select this, else you can ignore this. And you can also select this option, enable version control. So version control, just remember this property. Version control repository will help you to store the multiple versions of the same program. It is just like a versioning control tool, something like a CVS, SVN and all. So select this option and then click on finish. So when you click on finish, it will automatically start creating the metadata tables in your schema, whatever you have provided, or in your Oracle schema, whatever you have provided. So I have selected a no content exists and click on finish. So as soon as you click on finish, it will start creating first it will enable the service and then it will start creating those metadata tables in your repository service. It is enabling the service now. See now, it says that creation of service contents in progress. What does it mean? It is service of creation contents in progress. So it is started creating a tables. So earlier when I have queried my Infobix schema, I didn't have any tables. Now if you see, it has created all these 381 tables, or still it will create some more tables, 411, and it will create around 511 tables, right? So all these tables, whatever you have, all these metadata tables will be stored, will store all your ETL programs. So ETL programs, whatever you create, source definition, target definition. So this information, source definition, target definition, mapping information, you have mapping and the sessions, workflows, everything will get saved onto, whatever you do, everything will get saved onto repository database. But repository database. So this is how you create a repository. So now I have a repository service. If you see, the repository service is available. By default, whenever you create a repository service, your repository service will be running in the exclusive mode. Your repository service is running in the exclusive mode. So in order to change the repository service exclusive mode, if the repository is running in the exclusive mode, you can't connect to the repository service. You can't connect to the repository. So it should be run in the normal mode. Then you can ask the question, what is the point of keeping the repository in the exclusive mode? So what is the need of it? So the repository, if the repository is in the, see, whenever you want to migrate the code from one repository to the other repository, and you want to make sure that no developer is connected to this, no developer is connected to this, then you can keep the repository in exclusive mode and then migrate it. So maybe during the code freeze time, you can convert your repository to the exclusive mode so that nobody will touch it. Nobody will change anything. So that is the use of exclusive mode. So when you go to the repository properties, select it, edit, and it should be running in the normal mode. Select the normal mode and click on OK. It will automatically restart the repository service and run in the normal mode so that you can make a connection to it. So all these file event tables are nothing but your metadata tables which will be used Informatica metadata repository metadata tables which will store. These are all the pre-created tables. It is just like a normal table. A lot of views also are being created. So everything will get saved onto here. This will store users, this will store groups, other will store different workflow details. Everything will get saved onto this. So that's why if the repository database is down, Informatica will not function. Informatica will not function at all. So you need to make sure that the repository service is always up and running. Then only the Informatica will work. Now I'm restarting the repository service. That's how you create a repository service. That's how you create a repository service. We'll see. So it's running now. I have a lot of repositories on my machine, so it will be a little slow. I have to delete all these things. So under a single domain, you can have a n number of repositories and n number of that's based upon your license. So when you are buying it, your license based upon the license number, you can create that many amount of repositories. So when you go to, if you have to see how many repositories and what is your license is all about, you can see here. So this is a Informatica expired some non-expiry license and the production. It supports 14 logical CPUs and it supports 255 repository instances, not more than that. So if you see, the repositories are 255, not more than 255 repositories you can create using this license. So the 255 repositories I can create, not more than that. So license information and what are the services that are being created in this using this, and the different options will be there under the license. And what are all the databases it supports? ODBC, Oracle, Teradata, Power Exchange, SAP, Power Exchange for Siebel, everything is there in this one. Likewise, so what are all the connections that you create, and everything will be available. So that is how you create a repository service. Always you need to make sure that your repository service is up and running, then only you can connect. So it says that repository service is available, and you have a lot of other properties. We'll keep checking these properties whenever we start working with a Informatica. That's how you create a repository service. Now you have created a repository service. How to create an integration service? How to create the integration service? One repository service can have a multiple integration services. One repository can have a multiple integration services, but one integration service can be associated only with one repository. Only with one repository. Now, how to create the integration service? Same way, be on the domain, go to actions, click on new, and then you have something called as a Power Center integration service. So select Power Center integration service. Here you have a name. So I'm entering the name as int_pre-dev. So select the license. So whatever the license that you have, and the node. So it is also possible that repository service can be created on one node and the integration service can be created on the other node as well. So when you have a multiple nodes, you can choose it. So that's why if you see, if you are creating a repository service and the integration service on the different nodes, repository and integration will communicate to each other by using the TCP/IP protocol. TCP/IP protocol. So now you select the node, whatever the node that is available, and then click on next. So Power Center repository service, you have to select the repository for which you are creating the integration service. I'm creating the integration service for info big_dev, select it. Here, when it asks for the username and password, you should not enter the database username and password. You should enter the domain username and password which you have used to log into the repository, Informatica administrator. So here the username what I have used is an administrator and the password is also administrator. So I have entered this is the domain username, not the database username, So select administrator and click on finish. So when you click on finish, so it will automatically ask you to associate with a code page. So I'm associating with a Microsoft Windows login. So once the integration service is created, by default integration service will be in the disabled mode. So just enable the integration service. So now this completes your creation of a repository service and the integration service. Right. So now you have a repository service is available and the integration service is also available. So I have a lot of repositories integration service. Okay, this one is not available for some reason. So whenever the service is not available, it will be in the red color mark. If all the services are up and running, then it will be in the green color mark. If you just mouse over it, it will say that whether it is running or not. So if you say that this is an invalid, it is failed with this reason. So whatever, some initial storage it has not encountered and then it is errored out. So this is how you create a repository service and the integration service. Yes. So if you have any questions, please go ahead now and we will discuss about how to create the users in the Informatica and how to create different other folders and everything, groups, permissions that we will discuss. Yeah. Go ahead with your questions now regarding the architecture part.
So in a given machine, can we have multiple domains?
No. On a single server, you cannot have a multiple domains. You cannot add it. Only one domain can be defined on one server.
Nothing but like, can you go back to the architecture page where you are in the PowerPoint?
Yes.
So you said like usually when in real-time scenario you just have the client side on you and you will not look at any other domain or other part of the architecture, right?
Yeah, you'll not have a permission as well. When you join as a developer, you'll not have a permission to log into the Informatica administrator homepage. It is completely maintained by the admin guys.
Okay, so if you go in as a developer, you will just work with the 4 tools, the client tools, right?
Yeah, only client tools, not the Informatica administrator homepage. Yeah.
What about the server? Like, I just have a doubt because, like you said, if Informatica wants to work, we have to install a database, right?
Yes.
So, should a client side should also have a local database?
No.
Then they don't need any?
No, nothing. So client is just connects to the server using a TCP IP. Whatever you are saving, whatever you are doing, it will automatically be saved onto your server database. Client side, you don't need any database. Whenever you are installing, you just install the client and configure the repository and then work with it. That's it. No database is required when you are installing the client.
Okay, so if a company so if a company works in Informatica, like the developer will be working on the client tools and the admin will be maintaining the server side, like the integration services and the repository database, everything, right?
Yes. Right.
Okay, and then the information source, it means the database where information is stored. Like if we use the tools, we can access the data from the source database and we can make manipulations and it can be stored in the target.
Yes, using
everything done by the developer, right?
Yes, everything is done by the developer. So using these client tools, you will create the programs, you will schedule the programs, you will execute the programs, and you will monitor the programs. These client tools.
Okay. For the server and the database is it's installed in our system just to practice.
Yeah.
Usually it will not be there.
It will not be there in the real time. Yes. So